You hear this here first. I am Arne Slot in. All right, welcome back to JQLFC. So we've got a lot to cover in this video. It's been a while since I did one of these. Good to know that I can do this again. So last night, match week 8 of the Champions League phase is done and dusted and done and over with. All 18 games played simultaneously. Excuse my English. And Liverpool finished off the league phase with a bang. 6-0 against Qarabag. Two goals from Alexis McAllister, and one goal from Florian Wirtz, one goal from Hugo Ekitike, one stunning free kick goal from Mo Salah, and the first Liverpool Champions League goal for Federico Chiesa. The key thing though here is our captain Virgil van Dijk, a hat-trick of assists. Well, who would have thought, man? You know, our captain who honestly played very poorly against Bournemouth over the last weekend. He responded in kind. He responded very well. A hat-trick of assists. First one for McAllister for the opening goal. A long ball to Hugo Ekitike, who handled the rest. And then the final assist, he was actually up front. What was he doing up front? I don't know what he was doing up front, but he squared the ball for Chiesa to score his first Champions League goal for Liverpool. So, man of the match, our captain, definitely. It could be McAllister for his brace, but you know what? Champions League nights at Anfield is always special, and last night proved that as well. So where does that leave Liverpool in the Champions League league phase? We are third. We finished third, so that means we are automatically going into the round of 16 without having to play a playoff series, which is really very important, especially if you are a Premier League team, an English team. You do not want to have 2 extra games in your already busy schedule, right? So 5 out of the 6 Premier League teams finished in the top 8. Obviously, Arsenal, a perfect record, 8 for 8. They are at the top. I'm surprised somebody didn't mention Invincibles in the league phase. Anyway, so Arsenal finished up on top. Liverpool was in third. Spurs were in fourth. And I think to round up 7th and 8th were Chelsea and Man City. Newcastle, because they drew 1-1 with PSG, they finished in 11th. So unfortunately for Newcastle, they have to play 2 more games because they have to play the playoffs. So will we see all 6 Premier League teams in the round of 16? Well, it's up to Newcastle now, because 5 of them are already automatically qualified in the round of 16. Speaking of the last game week, just off the top of my head, going through a few results. Benfica. Now this is a very interesting one. Benfica beat Real Madrid 4-2 with some very dramatic last-minute dramas, if you will. A double red card for Real Madrid. I think it was Asensio and Rodrigo within like 2 minutes of each other in stoppage time. Benfica were already up 3-2, but their goalkeeper, of all people, going in to score the 4th goal, and Benfica keep their hopes alive. They will be in the playoffs, but so will Real Madrid. Because of this loss, Real Madrid finished 9th, just behind Man City, so they have to go to a playoff if they want to be in the round of 16. So that's a main highlight, if you will. So what does that say about the rest of the table? I won't talk so much about who's going to be in 9th to 24th. I'd rather mention a few teams that will not be in the Champions League playoffs. That means they are all out of the Champions League. The main team that did not even make it out of the league phase is Napoli. This is a shocker, because Napoli, because they lost to Chelsea 3-2, Napoli are out of the Champions League altogether. I think they end up in the 30th place out of the 36 teams. So it's a real shocker. I thought Napoli would perform better than that. Um, in fact, when I look at it, just looking at the table real quickly, I'm just glancing now to just see who's out. From 25th onwards, some of the teams that are out: Marseille is out, PSV is out, Bilbao is out, Napoli, like I mentioned, 30th place, they are out. Ajax Amsterdam is out as well. So some quite high quality. Um, I'm not going to say big clubs, but high quality clubs. They are out of the Champions League altogether. So like Ajax, Marseille, Napoli. These are real big clubs. Two of the three of them are former Champions League winners, and they are out of the Champions League altogether. Those going into the playoffs. So let me just read it out: Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG, Newcastle, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Leverkusen, Dortmund, I think Olympiacos, Club Brugge, Galatasaray, Monaco, Qarabag, whom we just defeated 6-0. They're actually in the knockout phase, along with Bodo Glimt, and because they beat Real Madrid, Benfica just snuck in to that last spot in the playoffs. So those are your playoff teams. In the top 8: Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting, and Man City. So Chelsea is actually in 6th. So my mistake, Chelsea was in 6th, and Sporting Lisbon is in 7th. Man City, they just snuck in because of their win. They're in 8th place. So that's your Champions League roundup for the league phase. So I'm very happy to note that we will be automatically going into the round of 16. So we don't have to worry about having to play 2 more games, because right now our focus is on the league. Our focus is on the FA Cup. We are facing Brighton in the 4th round of the FA Cup, but more importantly, this gives us time to work on our system for the Premier League, at least for the rest of the season. Speaking of which, now let me just change. Let me just sidetrack a little bit and speak about our head coach, Arne Slot. There's been a lot of talk about amongst the fans. Some fans want Arne Slot to stay. Some fans say Arne Slot, they want him out. So here's my opinion, and this is where I stand. And you hear this first. You hear this here first. I am Arne Slot in until the end of the season. That means to say, I want Arne Slot out next season, but until then, do the best he can for the remainder of the season, because we still have Champions League qualification at stake. Even though we are 6th, we are just 1 point behind Chelsea and 2 points behind Man United. So a weekend, we can swap positions with those two over a weekend. Who knows? FA Cup, we're in the 4th round. We face Brighton. Can we make a run for the FA Cup? Yes, sure. Why not? Champions League, automatically round of 16. So there's still something to play for. So if anything, Arne Slot could play for at least 1 trophy. Let me just say it. Let me be clear. He can play for at least 1 trophy. Whether it's the FA Cup or the Champions League, because I don't think the league is a possibility. But yeah, so at least Arne Slot can leave Liverpool knowing that in his 2 seasons with Liverpool, he won 1 trophy per season. He won us the 20th Premier League title the first time round, and maybe, who knows, he could leave by winning the 9th FA Cup or the 7th Champions League. Who knows? And another reason why I say Slot in until the end of the season, this is an obscure point of view. The reason why I wanted Arne Slot to stay and not leave at this stage of the season and bring in whether it's Xabi Alonso or whoever, because Alonso is free, because I don't want to see the previous cycle being repeated here. Let me explain. A decade ago, I think it was a decade ago, when Brendan Rodgers was managing Liverpool, right? He was sacked, or he was sacked by Liverpool early in the season when we had Christian Benteke, Bobby Firmino, amongst others, and then 2 weeks later, Jurgen Klopp came in. Now, even though Jurgen Klopp brought us to 2 finals that season, we finished in 8th. And we had a very terrible squad. And we had no European football for the following season. During the course of that season where Jurgen Klopp took over halfway, I've seen comments on social media because we did lose quite a number of games under Jurgen Klopp in that season, and fans were already saying Klopp out when he hasn't even had a full season, when he just took over Liverpool from a Brendan Rodgers squad that really did not deliver. Right, so I did not want this cycle to repeat itself, because imagine if Arne Slot leaves. Let's say he leaves today, right? And let's say Xabi Alonso comes in, and because he's still available, right? Let's say Xabi Alonso comes in like a day after Arne Slot leaves. What does Xabi Alonso have to work with given our current squad? I'm not saying our squad is bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying our squad now is bad, because we've got some, we still got some great talent, and we've got expensive signings, like Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, but our defense is getting wearing thin. Jeremy Frimpong just got injured in the 3rd minute. So, like, how much does Xabi Alonso have to work with from, let's say, tomorrow until the end of the season? And if he loses games, and losses are part of the game, there's going to be the same backlash towards Alonso, and it's not fair to him. So there's going to be, if Alonso loses a game, then people say, "Oh, Alonso out." We should have kept Arne Slot. So I don't want that. That does not feel right whatsoever. I would rather recruit Alonso during the summer. So that's my stance on it. I know there's certain fans who want Slot out and Alonso in immediately, but that's not how I would see it. I'd rather give Arne Slot until the end of the season, let him go out potentially on a high note, and then bring in, I don't care if it's Alonso or Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann, whoever, right? Let the incoming manager, potentially incoming manager, come in during the summer and then work his magic. I think that's a better option. So I say again, I'm Arne Slot in until the end of the season, because I want Arne Slot to finish off this season and let him, and hopefully he can finish on a high note. That's my stance on the coaching situation right now for Liverpool. To wrap up this video, let's focus on Newcastle. We are hosting Newcastle at home over the weekend. So what is my predicted scoreline for this one? This is going to be very interesting. Well, both teams played last night, so there's no excuses in terms of fitness and all that. So we're all going to be both teams will be equally rested. We play at Anfield. The last time we faced Newcastle during this season, when we played at St. James's Park, was a thriller. It was a last-minute thriller by Ringo Ingamoa. Do I expect that this time around, this coming weekend? I don't know. I don't know, but I hope we do. But I hope we do win. And I think last night's game against Qarabag proves that we need to be scoring goals. Last night was the first time that we scored 3 goals or more, like the last time we scored 3 goals or more. When was the last time we did that? Maybe you have to think back to maybe like a Barnsley, but that's a FA Cup. But in a league, I don't remember us scoring three or more goals, as far as I know. Or maybe you have to track back all the way to the first two games. Bournemouth, the opening game, we scored four, but that's because we were up 2-0 and then we conceded two. Same thing for Newcastle, and Ingamo scored the winner. We have to concede. Sorry, not concede. We have to concede 0 goals. Yeah, but we have to score uh, at least 3 goals before the opposing team scores even one. So we have to be at least 3-0 up, just like last night against Qarabag. When we were 3-0 up, we went ahead and kept scoring. So that's exactly what we need to do in the league. So my prediction scoreline, I mean, with the way Verts is playing now, his form is really really getting good. Akitike, we know he can score. Salah with a free kick. Szoboszlai with a free kick against Bournemouth, even though he lost. I want to say 3-1 because our defense is going to suffer a little bit. But 3 goals, us scoring 3 goals first before Newcastle scores their one, I think it's feasible. So my prediction is, yeah, I'll go with a 3-1 win over Newcastle, just to get the 3 points, just to stabilize the team in terms of the morale, in terms of just our boost for top 4. So, and hopefully we can close the gap with I'm not even talking about closing the gap towards Arsenal. I'm talking about closing the gap to City and Villa, because we are how many points are we? We are at least 7 points behind those two. So we really need to close that gap, and we've got now it's weekend. That's match day 24. This weekend is match day 24. So we've got quite a bit of time, but we need to take the opportunity to close the gap with the leaders of the pack. So let's hope for a 3-1 win. I'm going for 3-1 Newcastle. What do you think your scoreline? What do you think the scoreline is going to be against Newcastle? Leave a comment. Comment down below what your scoreline is going to be. Comment down below as well, what do you think of the Arne Slot situation? Are you slot in or are you slot out? And who, if you're slot in, why? If you're slot out, who do you think is the best replacement? Comment down below. I'd like to hear your comments. And as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.